Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I am Abe with MysticGenMara.com, a small town mystic from the middle of Idaho. And today I would like to offer the elemental reading for the month of May for fire signs, which the fire signs are over Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. And I read elements easier than I do the zodiac, and I am learning more about the zodiac. But if you have, or if you are Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, or if you have high fire in your charts, this reading will be for you, as these readings are timeless. Even though this is for the month of May in 2023, if you hear this at a later date, it can still offer you insights and messages as we go along. I like to read, for the moment anyway, by the week. So each week I will read a guide or guardian to help you with that week, a message from source, and then a lesson or a challenge from the tarot. With that, I read intuitively, so the messages that come through might be a little bit different than what the classical definitions are or the standard meanings for the cards, because I'm getting the information directly from my guides. There are 4.5 weeks in May this year, so I'm going to go ahead and do a full 5-week reading. As I said, each week we'll get 3 cards. So we'll start off with the guide or guardian for the first week of May 2023 for fire elemental energy. And if you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, there will be links in the description below. The card for your first week of May 2023 fire signs is self-acceptance. So the angels that come through, these are not normally named in this deck, but the angels class that's coming through are those that are going to help you understand yourself, understand where you're coming from, where your life has been to this point. Self-acceptance is showing that you have a lot of gifts, you have a lot of skills, and in this moment for the now, if you accept who you are, it will allow you to see where you need to grow, where there's things that need to be shifted and changed, but it's also going to show you how far you've come. When you can accept, you may not be perfect, none of us really are. If you can accept that in this now moment, it allows you to see how growth is possible. It allows you to see how growth is something that you can achieve easier. It may show you the end product and then show you the next step to get to that point. So this first week is really about tapping into that divine essence of self-acceptance, and the angels that are coming through are going to be helping you understand that lesson a little bit better. So your message from source is the cosmic womb, the divine feminine. So you're working with the energy of self-acceptance, and why you're working with that is you are coming into a period of rebirth. The cosmic womb is where we go to heal, to grow, and then to become something bigger and or better than what we were before. And when I speak of better, I'm talking in spiritual terms here, so it's a growth period again. So this first week is really about tapping into your growth, but the Cosmic Womb card is really saying that in this time, in this moment for you, it's about tapping into the sacred feminine, the divine feminine energy. We all carry a mix, varying degrees, of masculine and feminine energy, and this first week, we're working with self-acceptance. It could be something that has been brought up as a troubling thing through your life that's a little bit more feminine, but the cosmic womb is saying this is an acceptable thing. This is a part of your strength, and to tap into and to understand what that really means for you. Your lesson or challenge from the tarot is the 10 of Spring, and this is the fairy tarot. Ask for help from others, all work and no play, being weighed down by too many responsibilities. So you're working, again, with more feminine energy. This whole week has been feminine energy for you. All 3 of the cards, you've got feminine, feminine, and feminine. So you're working with a lot of feminine energy in this first week of May. And it's really about understanding that, yes, you've had to do it on your own. Self-acceptance comes to the term of, okay, well, I have a couple of points where I'm not as good as I'd like to be in this department, but that's okay because I'm tapping into the divine feminine. And it also is saying that it's okay to ask for help. So your lesson or your challenge for this first week is being okay with asking for help from others. And it could be something as simple as helping them with your groceries, or having them help you with your groceries, but it could be something bigger of a spiritual or emotional sense. They're saying that this is just really about understanding the aspects of who you are that are more gentle, that are more calm, and being okay with a rest period this first week so that you can prepare for the next level. The cosmic womb is also about resting because there's a period of rebirth and growth that is occurring for you. So let's look at the second week of May. Blessings and abundance. So this card is really talking about the second week. The energy that's coming forward, the angels that are coming forward are helping you understand the blessings. The first week was self-acceptance, understanding where you are in this now moment, understanding who you are in this now moment, and how you can grow from that point. The blessings is now coming through to say, look at where you are and how far you've come. Now it's time to step into the blessings that you've been given. You may not even see them as blessings at the start of this month, but by the second week, you're going to start to understand the blessings. The blessings of friendship, the blessings of a good job, whether it's good paying or not, the job that aligns with you, the blessings and the abundance of life itself. In the northern hemisphere, we're into the spring season, so everything is coming alive. Birds are singing, the animals are starting to pop out babies, the plants are starting to come up. Even in the middle of Idaho where we have a fair amount of snow yet, it's starting to melt, which is good. But it's all about these blessings. And sometimes things like, to me, the snow's frustrating. But in reality, we need it. And it's going to be a great blessing, although we have a little bit too much right now, so it could end up being a little interesting when it comes to the floods. But it's really understanding and accepting those blessings in this now moment. So the second week is working with angels of blessings and abundance, and they're saying that Archangel Gabriel might be coming forward for you. She's the angel of the west and water, but helping you understand the blessings on emotional states is why she's coming forward. So the second week message from Source is Sky Bridge, possibility for union. So there's a connection, a spiritual connection that they're saying is coming through this second week, and that could be with the angel, Archangel Gabriel, but it also could be connection with another person or reconnecting you with the divine, because you have the stairs in the middle going up. So you could be an earth to heaven connection or an earth to spirit connection, but it also, there's two pillars, so it could be your strength merging with the strength of another one, a coworker situation where you've kind of bonded with one, or maybe even a relationship for the second week. But it's really about understanding the blessings that you have also can come into the relationships that you have, friendships, romantic, work, all of that kind of stuff. And it's looking for that possibility of union. So be aware of the people who you align with in that second week, just working towards that blessing and abundance theory and concept. So let's look at the lesson or challenge from the tarot. It's number 16, life experiences. Let go of belief systems that no longer work for you, an important life-changing event, a situation that leads to significant opportunities. So your lesson or your challenge for the second week is knowing when to walk away from a situation. You're understanding the first week with self-acceptance, taking that time to breathe, curling up into the arms of the mother in the cosmic womb. The second week is understanding how great your blessings and abundance really are. You may not have everything, but that gives you something to aim for. And the connections that you're building during the second week. And the reason that you're working with the blessings and you're working with these connections is your life experience is starting to call you to let go of the past, to let go of maybe a job, maybe it's a relationship. Something is being drawn out of your life, and it's not something that you're really actively involved in. It's something that's just happening. And what this card is saying is you have to understand that you reaching for and trying to hold on to something that's being pulled away is not the best decision. the blessings that you have in the now moment, that was a supporting role, but now it's time to let it go. And so right now, this second week is about that growth of you're stepping forward, and sometimes things in your past, they had their point, they're still good, they were great for you at the time, and they're still good now, but you no longer need them, and so it's time to let them go, is what they're saying for this second week's challenge or lesson. And I use the term lesson or challenge because for some people it's something that's going to challenge you. There's other parts that we're going to come through as a lesson, something that you probably should work on learning, but again, this is just reading, so you guys take what works and release the rest. The third week's guide or guardian is the healing energy. So this is a class of angels, generally with Archangel Raphael and Archangel Gabriel, because you're working with the energy of healing. If it's physical healing, mental healing, work with Raphael. If it's emotional healing, Gabriel's a great choice. But it's not just those two. I mean, you can work healing energy with any of the angels, but there's a healing class of angels that's coming forward for this third week. As you've went through this month, the first week was self-acceptance. The second week was understanding your blessings. And as you're releasing from that second week, it's coming into the healing. When you release any form of stress, any form of trauma, you're releasing the past. Even if it was great at the time, it's time for it to step away. There is this period where you feel like, did I walk away from something I should have kept? There's something that I'm missing here? And it could be an emotional healing, like you're upset that part of your life is over and you're into this new area. Working with the healing angels this third week can help work through and process that, and you'll start to see maybe that had its time and place and it's time to let it go. Or as you've been working with your self-acceptance, you've come to understand things in your life before you had control over your life may have not worked out the way you'd like them to, and this healing that comes forward can help you release and understand there was a purpose for it, now it's over, and it's time to heal that heart wound. So let's look at your message from Source. It's dances on one foot. It's a balancing act. As you're healing, as you're growing, there's always a challenge associated with that, and it's not a bad one. But you don't want to bury yourself so far into I'm only doing healing work for mentally, emotionally, physically, that you forget you still have to live. We do spiritual work to integrate it into our everyday lives. We can't give up on our everyday lives. We still have, jobs to go to, bills to pay, families to take care of, friends to go see. But if you only focus on one aspect, you actually start to build an imbalance. So as you're doing your healing work, understand that sometimes you have to step outside your bubble. Like if you're in your head too much or you're in your healing space too much, it can actually cause there's a term called like healing crisis, where you've been focusing on health for so long, mental, spiritual, or physical, that your body, mind, or soul actually kind of like rebels against you, and you'll end up getting really sick, or you'll start to get headaches, things like that. And it's because you've created a new imbalance trying to fix a problem. Your body and your soul and your mind will release in the healing space what it's ready to let go of. If you try to push beyond that, that's when you become out of balance. So dancing on one foot, the card is really talking about coming into balance, knowing when it's time to work on healing, which is this third week's energy, but knowing when to go and get out of your head, go hang out with your friends. Sometimes that'll trigger a healing on its own. But it's that balance. So you're working on finding balance as you're going through this growth and healing process. So let's look at the lesson or challenge from the tarot. And this is for fire signs in 2023 of May. It is the Ace of Winter. Don't be deterred by challenges along the way. It's important to communicate clearly and accurately amazing new ideas that should be implemented. So this third week's lesson or challenge is really talking about understanding that balance. And as you're understanding the balance, your intuitive guidance, is going to start giving you options, things to think about. maybe you've been focused here so much that you're missing all of these other pathways because you're only here. When you find balance, you start to see a little bit more of what's going on, and that's where you're getting this don't be deterred by challenges. Just because you have a hiccup on this particular path, it might actually work in your favor, because if you didn't trip right there, you wouldn't have seen this other path. If you wouldn't have run into that wall, you wouldn't have noticed there's a door off to the left. There's all of these different things that are coming forward, and your challenge is tapping into those healing energies and working with your guides, guardians, divine source energy to see when those opportunities are coming forward for you, and understanding that new ideas are not always bad. Obviously, look at them from a logical perspective, but sometimes the thing that scares you the most is the thing you need the most. So, it's just some things to think about for this third week, the little challenge there. And let's move on to the fourth week's energy for fire signs. The simple phrase of no. Understanding how to set boundaries, understanding the time to say no, we're good, enough's enough, I'm not doing this anymore. It doesn't have to be forceful. It's something as simple as, I don't think so, I'm not interested, things like that. So this fourth week, you've done the growth and you're working through some of this healing process, and as you're doing that, it's time to start setting boundaries. Sometimes having too open of access for other people can cause too much of your drainage, and that's where you start to get into that imbalance again. In the third week, you're balancing. You're working on healing and you're finding a new balance. Well, this fourth week is talking about setting up emotional, mental, and sometimes physical boundaries. No, we're not doing this, we're good. And the angels that are coming through in this fourth week are really about helping you understand when's the time to say no and when's the time to say yes. And fire tends to be a little bit more quick to judgment, so saying no or yes is a rather fast response. These angels are coming in to say, you don't always have to say no, there are times for it. Let's work on understanding when that balance occurs. Your message from Source is Sky Dancers, surrender. So as you're saying no, as you're setting those boundaries, what you're doing is you're surrendering the outside world's control. You're giving it up. You're not interested anymore. And you're reconnecting. You're surrendering a lot of these paths and these decisions to your higher self. You're not letting go of, because your willpower is attached to your higher self. You're not letting go of your life. You're not handing over what happens in your life. You're surrendering the world. Like, I'm done with this. Set it aside. You don't want their control. You're surrendering that back to them. You're giving it back. Because you are connecting with your higher self, which is allowing you to see clearly where your boundaries need to be. Sometimes it's setting a firm boundary with an employer. No, after 5:30, I'm done. I have kids, I've got a second job, I've got a sporting event. It really doesn't matter. Your employer doesn't have to know what it is. But when you set that boundary, that's enough. If it's the boundary of friends where they're always just showing up at your house and they're eating all your food, no, we'll have a Friday night movie night. Otherwise, get gone. And you don't always have to be, coarse or crass about it, but it's really about understanding when to surrender to your higher self to understand what you have to let go of in this world. But understanding that simple little word no means a great deal about helping you heal and fix some of your boundaries. Your lesson or challenge from the tarot is the Three of Autumn. Follow your passion when it comes to career. Be the best that you do. Be compensated for your creative talents. So they're showing that you may give more than you receive energetically. And when you're giving and giving and giving, that's when you start to trigger that imbalance. You start to trigger that lack of boundaries. So this fourth week is about setting boundaries, knowing when to let something go and just let it float away, when you need to surrender some of the control to your higher self so that you guys can come to a better balance. Because when you follow your passion, when you follow your heart, you're going to do the thing that you love, paid or not. The thing is in a service industry, if you're doing something in that department, it actually can negatively affect you if you're not being compensated, whether it's through energetic thank yous if it's not through financial, because money is just an energy form. It's really nothing more than that. But you have to make sure that you're being compensated for the things that you're doing. And if the current group that you're working with is not compensating appropriately, and you'll know when that happens, it's time to maybe say no to them and surrender them back out to the universe. Like, it's time to let you go. Because when you surrender things out of your life, you're making space for new things and better things to be coming in. So let's look at the 5th week's energy for fire element for May 2023. And we have manifestation. So this 5th week is really a powerful week because you have the angels that are coming through to help you manifest, helping you bring things into fruition. This month has been about understanding yourself, understanding your blessings and your abundance, really. But you're also learning to set boundaries as you're healing. So the things that what people used to basically walk all over you, you're saying no to that now. Because as you're setting things loose, you're freeing yourself through this month. You're opening up space. You're creating space for the manifested blessings and abundance that you've been working towards to come through for you, fire. And as you're doing that, you're really working on that, connecting in, holding those images in your mind. If you do vision boards, really pay attention, especially this 5th week, as to what you have on there. Is it stuff that you actually want and need? As you've went through this month, you can, adjust things as needed. But as you're doing that, looking at those things that you're trying to manifest and understand, sometimes things that you thought you wanted as you go through a healing process suddenly aren't that important anymore, and you can let those go. So this 5th week is about understanding what you're manifesting and how to bring the best for you in at the moment. And the message from Source is the Dust Devil. It's number 15 in this deck. It is moving out of stagnation. So this 5th week is really going to start picking up, either physically, spiritually, or mentally, but there's some movement that is coming forward. As you're working with this manifestation energy, it's going to speed things up. This month has been kind of more internal, more quiet. You're understanding yourself. You're seeing your gratitude for blessings and abundance. You're tapping into healing. You're learning to set more boundaries to things that no longer serve you, because this 5th week is starting another set of manifestation. It's starting another kick up of energetic movement, whether that's spiritual, mental, or physical. So be aware in this 5th week that there's maybe some changes coming in because of the work that's been done through the month. But these changes are going to be beneficial for you. So let's look at the final challenge or lesson from the tarot. It's the 7 of Spring. Be assertive, don't back down from what you believe, and courageously stand up for yourself. So in this, your lesson or your challenge for this 5th week is, as things start to move, as you start to tap into this manifestation energy, because this 5th week is movement. The other one's been more internal, more quiet, more understanding how to set boundaries, where to set boundaries, how to adjust things. This last week is, now that you've reset, basically, it's time to start going again. You've got manifestation angels coming forward to help. The message from Source is, things are stirring up. It's time to get going. And the 7 of Spring is saying, once you've set your boundaries, you've done some healing work, you've worked on your self-confidence and your self-awareness, now it's time to apply the lessons that you've learned into this process of moving forward. So you have this powerful energy coming forward to say, be assertive. This isn't really a challenge for you guys, it's more of a lesson, it's a reminder, because fire tends to be pretty outgoing to start with. So you've got this reminder, this lesson reminder saying it's time to go. And when people come up and be like, well, this is a different version of you, what are you doing? Simply say no. I'm growing, I'm learning, and I'm changing. If you want to work with me, let's go. If you don't, please step out of my way. I've got some things to do. Be very, you can be polite about it, but don't let other people tamp down your vision. Don't let other people tamp down your passion. As long as your focus is in the right department, as in, uplifting, working with your higher self, and you're not harming other people, because that's a key note to readings, especially with tarot, keep going. Things are going to line up, but it's always that thing of bring in the logic as you're bringing in the energy, so you can, make them together. Sometimes messages come through and it's confusing, and that's where if you apply some logical things to it, all of a sudden that confusion will unravel and you're like, oh, so this step, this step, this step, and it's not all at once. So hopefully this reading resonated for you guys, and if you enjoyed it, please drop a like. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, or even criticisms, as long as they're respectful, drop those in the comments below. If you are enjoying this type of content, please hit the little subscribe button, and I will talk to you guys in a future video, and have an awesome month of May.